This is our visualization, VisPlay. It is waiting for the small multiples to load. It allows the user to explore 250,000 Android apps that we crawled from the Google Play Store. It does that using different matrix diagrams. On the left side of the page, you can see app categories and app permissions that are shown in a percent matrix. It uses this legend. They have two different types of permissions in Android applications, normal showing in green and dangerous showing in red. As you hover over data, you can see this pop up with this bar chart showing permission distribution in different categories. For instance, in communication, there are 93% of apps in communication category are using internet permission. As you go across the matrix, you can see the category that you are selecting in this moment getting highlighted in the small multiples. Here in small multiples, we are showing permission sets, a set of permissions that each app is using. For instance, in application, there are 689 applications that are using network state and internet permissions. As you go over different permission sets and different categories, you can see other categories that have the same set gets highlighted. For instance, this specific set, it's highlighted in educational but not in casino, showing that this permission set is used in educational but not casino. But as you go over data in different categories, you can notice that nothing is selected in malware because they have no similarities with malware and other categories. And the same here, when you go through different permission sets in malware, it shows that none of these sets are used in any other category of apps. Views are tightly connected. As you hover over different permission sets, the permission set gets selected in all permission sets here. In small multiples, we are showing permission sets in different categories, but on your right-hand side in all permission sets matrix, we are showing it for all the apps in the dataset. So for instance, here the permission set of internet and network state are used in 30,000 apps. You can also rearrange the matrix using different criteria, sort the rows by number of permissions or sort the columns by permission sums. And you can also select some of the categories and it will be disabled and drop down to the bottom of the matrix, and you cannot see them in the multiple. It gets disappeared from the small multiples here. You can add them back to the matrix, and you can also use different calculation methods. So we are using a percentage at each row. You can change that to the total using total percentage, and you can see the legend gets updated. You can use different data smoothing, square root, or standard. You can also right click on a category and it sorts the categories based on similarities. So here the communication is the most similar one to malware. But if you do the same thing on communication, you get to see that malware falls down here, which means that it's the least similar to communication. Whereas when you sort it based on malware, you get to see the communication is really close to malware, meaning that it's the most similar one. Here, down here, you can see the correlation matrix for permissions and categories, and you can see the malware is the least similar one to any other categories. And if you sort the matrix by maximum permission correlation, you can see this chunk here of permissions that are tightly related, and they're closely correlated to each other, and it's really easy to see. You can also right click on any permission and the matrix gets updated based on similarity to that permission. You can click on any categories in small multiples and it will show you the detailed view. For instance, in simulation, we have 1700 apps that are using 300 distinct permission, and this is the permission sets that the apps in simulation are using. This was our demonstration for VisPlay. Thanks for watching.